from Applet Studio and Resonant Pixel Company. This is the Well Space podcast.
Hi, Winnie. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Totally
So here's a thing that's been on my mind lately. So in March, Google rolled out a huge update, and we were losing a bunch of traffic before in 2024 and 2025. But this update hit hard, and I feel like it hit everybody who had a blogging-based business. So like 30 more percent of traffic is gone, and Google is showing more generated answers on the first page, and people are looking for the answers, but they're not clicking through the website. We started getting a bunch of traffic from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, but it's nowhere where our traffic was, like even 2 years ago, not to mention 3 years ago. I feel like 2023 was the last good year for SEO. So game is changing, and I have a plan that I'm going to execute to tackle this, but I just wanted to hear what you think about this,
Well,
and how are you helping your clients manage this transition and
well, I've
disruption?
been sharing with them that, some are wondering what's happened to their Google traffic, and they're wanting to increase Google traffic. And I think, to your point, I suppose, to put it more bluntly, you are banging your head against the wall. There's a couple other things going on as well before we get into the workarounds or what we're doing to work through it. Another one that I'm seeing is that Google's changing your meta descriptions, your titles and descriptions. So the blue links, some of the blue links I'm seeing are not what's in the meta description and title of those pages.
Wow.
They're rewriting those. And Google has filed a patent to serve up a page for you. So they may pull or content from the page that is ranking, but in some instances, when you click on the blue link, you don't get a page from your website, even though users thought that's what they were getting. You're getting a page that looks a lot like it, but Google thinks communicates better and it describes your offer better and describes the content better. And I think that is highly problematic. And they're testing that at low, sort of a low volume right now. And I wonder if that'll increase in the future, but they did file the patent. So those two things tell me that more visibility from Google for a standalone website will continue to be problematic or elusive, I'll say, even in the near future, but definitely in the further out, distant future. The meta content thing is the challenge we're seeing right now, and it's difficult to strategize with clients their keyword strategy or what those titles and tags should be if Google's not going to share them all the time. So I don't know how to transfer that relevance yet from what we would like it to say to what Google thinks it should say. I don't know how to connect those dots yet. That's definitely a current mystery. And I think it's related to what you're mentioning about LLMs. Two things. The first one being the AI visibility tool inside of Squarespace has become more and more important to me because the response that I'm seeing from ChatGPT inside of there is interesting in that it's sharing back basically what we're seeing from a keyword strategy standpoint. So I'm taking those responses as opportunities to generate content. I think websites are going to have to start generating a lot of new, fresh content because recency is relevancy and social signals is authority, more so than just simple, the old school backlinks and having some keyword density matrix built out on your website. Those things, I think, in this update are de-emphasized. And you kind of alluded to it when you started. So I just got off a call with a client and they're seeing Google traffic down. And they do physical retail environment things. And it's problematic for them because what they generate is a physical deliverable. And it's similar to an agency model. And what we're doing is looking at the AI visibility sort of build out inside of Squarespace as a way to do that keyword strategy sort of research inside of there without doing it in SEO space yet, and learning more about what language people are using based on what we're seeing in language that we're getting back from those responses in ChatGPT. So I'm trying to turn that into part of the content strategy that I hope leads me to understanding how to connect the dots between what we're writing strategically for titles and tags and what Google's showing for titles and tags when they're not showing actual titles and tags. It takes months to learn how the cause and effect works there. So I don't know yet. So what I've done is I've launched a monthly call with all of my subscribers. It's a new value add feature to my subscription is a monthly call with me, because I don't want to build ranking reports. I have zero interest in that. But I do want to have conversations about it and look at the analytics. And you can see Google search traffic once you're indexed, and if you're productive from a content addition standpoint, you could see movement when you connect Google Search Console to the back end of the Squarespace website. But you can't see movement in the AI visibility yet. So that I want to rewrite and check in on those quarterly, and then basically turn that into content assignments for clients.
What I'm seeing is that traffic is not just like going down, it's going up and down, up and down. I have a website that has like 300 articles on all the different niche topics, and it goes up a little. We start like blogging, updating the older articles, it goes up. And then Google rolls out new update and it goes down again. And it's like, to stay in one place, you got to run right now.
Yeah,
just
you
to
have
stay
to
in one
continually
place.
add content because Google will celebrate this new context early and then it levels off. It's especially true with AI-driven content. I'm seeing AI-created content rank and drive some non-brand keyword traffic for a short period of time, and then it disappears. In some cases, I was checking in Google Search Console the other day for a client. In some cases, it's even being delisted. So something to think about is how you're going to manage quality going forward. If you're going to do an AI generated content machine thing, you really have to have context and voice and tone nailed. I don't think it's impossible, but a simple chat with an LLM that vaguely understands you and your business and your ideal client is not going to create the content that you want there. So I think it drives us to the next point, which is there's been an assumption, I think for the past 12 months or so, that as Google traffic gets eaten up by LLMs, and that is absolutely happening. We've associated one-to-one.
Google is eating its own traffic with its own AI generated answers, which bumps up the price for advertisers. So advertising on Google right now is more expensive. Google is making more money off of these advertisers.
I don't think they mind any of that at
but
all.
They're not like losing anything in this.
Absolutely. And the blue links haven't had a tremendous amount of value to them for quite a while, because it's become an ad system. If you search for anything, you get a map and a bunch of ads and Google's inserted content and AI answer. The blue links are below the fold already anyway. But my point being, there isn't a one-to-one relationship in intent. So the intent for each industry may vary a bit when it comes to a Google search. So someone runs a Google search, their intent from a shopping or information gathering or whatever is pretty consistent. And there's been an assumption that when we lose traffic from Google SEO to LLMs, that the intent is the same from an LLM user that it was when they were a Google user. And I think that is showing to be a mistake. I think that intent, there isn't enough data for it to really be known yet, but it is entirely different. And as we continue to work with tools that help us with AI visibility, not just the Squarespace ones, but the one inside of SEO space and some of these third-party ones, I know Ahrefs has been adding those features in.
Uber
It'll be
suggests
interesting to
also.
see what that looks like over time in the coming months.
What I'm gonna do, and this is a recommendation from my SEO specialist that got me actually on first page of Google for Squarespace templates, very competitive keyword. And she recommends creating more commercial intent pages. And these are not blog posts, these are landing pages.
Landing pages.
So you know how, so our focus is shifting from blog posts to landing pages. So the whole the website will have a completely different structure. So it used to have one shop and then a whole bunch of blog posts pointing to that shop. Right now, it's gonna be a landing page for each niche, for each aesthetic, and for each client and for each service. Similar to how large software as a service companies do that. They have ginormous footers with landing pages, and each feature, so it goes like domain name /feature /landing page, domain name /niche /feature, and they have like a volume of those landing pages. So that's what these pages have: commercial intent, people who are ready to buy. And this is one of the strategies that might work. We don't know yet, but we're going to try.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but I think that's why Google is scrambling our titles and tags and why they're looking to bypass the website altogether and serve a page for you that is probably more intent-based, direct marketing style landing page. We're absolutely seeing you have to have a landing page with commercial intent that is structured a certain way, I think, in the future for not just Google, but for LLM.
Social signals. The most important part is social signals, testimonials, case studies, how it works, and clear call to action.
Yeah, and links from Threads and Instagram and Reddit.
Yeah. And then the blog posts is you sharing your personal experience that cannot be recreated by AI. So from informational blog posts, we're switching to sharing our unique experience, unique story. Actually, also the blog posts that are listicles go really well, and they get picked up by ChatGPT really well in our case. But the blog posts that have more personal touch to them, not just something that AI can generate. AI can generate how to make a button in Squarespace. AI cannot generate how I created a business or how I pivoted the business or what I recommend a particular kind of client do, or my personal take on how to redesign something or redo something.
Yeah, to kind of close the loop here and bring it back to what you started with, which is blogs and SEO. I think they're as relevant and important as they have ever been, if not even more so, but their purpose as a tool is different, right? It used to be a wrench for a bolt, and now it's a wrench for a nail, because what we've got to do is continue blowing out these blogs and creating content, double down on our unique voice and tone. So instead of going out of our way to sound more professional than we really are, maybe lean into authenticity, make the blog sort of that personal aspect of behind the scenes stuff. And there are other ways to do it. It doesn't have to be that tactic. Because the LLMs are indexing that and learning more about your brand and your business and its intent. So it may not be driving Google traffic, but it is driving context for the business on all these other tools. So just because Google traffic is plummeting doesn't mean a blog is less important or relevant than it's ever been. I think that's really the lesson here is connecting those dots.
One thing remains true. You need a website that has a whole bunch of pages and a whole bunch of blog posts. There's no way
Yeah.
around not writing a whole bunch of content.
No,
Like,
actually, I literally just had someone email me like Friday, like, hey, I've been paying this subscription now for a while, and I thought the website would be doing more for me by this point in time. And this subscriber, wonderful gentleman, hasn't added a thing, not one piece of content to a very small website that is well designed. It's nice. It doesn't have enough signals. It doesn't have enough sort of validation, and it doesn't have enough content. And honestly, when you run a small business, do not sleep on all of the other features inside of Squarespace that are going to help you run your business, like campaigns and scheduling and pay links. And the more useful you can make the website, and it's not Squarespace specific, the more useful you can make your website in being a sort of an engine for the business from an administration standpoint, the more likely you are to participate in adding content because you're not going as far out of your way.
yeah.
Don't have to be creating content doesn't have to be this special thing. If you're in there and doing it all anyway, you're going to start to see your analytics. You're going to start to see all the other things. It's like it's putting in the reps and getting better at that one thing, and you start to recognize all of the tertiary things that are related to it that are also opportunities. Like
But you know
creating
how some clients say, oh, I hate getting into my website. Oh, I hate blogging. I hate even the thought of like writing something in a blank Google Doc is scary for them.
Yeah,
In this case, you hire somebody to write 2 blog posts a
exactly.
month for
You
you.
run a business. Your job is not copywriting. When you're in a business, it doesn't matter what you make. It doesn't matter what you sell. You are in the business of two things: communicating and delegating. You're in the business of making systems. Otherwise, that business cannot grow. You will forever be a bottleneck. You're just being in a new place. So they need to think systematically. And I think it's easy as a business owner and a leader to fall back onto our comfort zone and allow ourselves to be the creator of a thing or own a thing. And then it takes a while until we realize that all we did was put ourselves in the way and we're the blocker.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
realizing
and
now. But
probably another topic,
circling,
but I think it's related because the idea is to make content and continue to add content to the website. And nothing bad comes from adding good content to your website ever.
circling back to SEO. So what still remains true, adding content to the website, also landing pages, also subcategory pages for the landing pages, and interlinking everything together and being yourself, pretty much, being authentic. That's what Google wants right now.
Yeah. And context. The pages have to be longer than people realize, I think, now.
I used to pay for this tool, Jasper, at the beginning
I
of
remember
like
Jasper.
AI. And
That was
now
early.
I log into Claude and free version of Claude. I actually paying for Claude right now too.
Sure.
The quality of writing is so much better than those like first versions of Jasper like 3 years ago. So there is no way
And it can
you
get
cannot
even better
write
now that
content
when you're on the
quickly.
paid account, you have the projects and you can develop all those skills where you can create skills for every one of your clients. And you can have context for each one of those brands. So when you're creating content for them to read or content for their brand, it's all accessible at scale. That co-work thing is powerful. We can have a whole show about cloud co-work, and I'll show you my system.
Let's do
in a
it
future
in a
episode.
second.
All right.
Let's wrap this one up and do the co-work thing.
I know we get excited about changing topics, but
Yeah, we
we
get
got to keep
excited.
these short. we'll cover that. We'll cover AI workflows in the future. I think is a good topic because it's both argumentative and will become outdated within days.
Yeah, it's like
Such a
gets
fascinating
old very
topic.
quickly. So
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks. We just
thank you.
solved
It was
everybody's
amazing.
scale
Thank
problem.
you.
See you in the next one.
See you.